Let's talk about getting naked. I mean, we're in the bedroom, right? No, really. Today, we are going to talk about getting naked with a skin expert. She's a dermatologist and a hormone expert, and her name is Dr. Keira Barr. And we also have health and beauty expert Monique Parent joining us. We're going to talk a little bit about the right pillow, which is right back there, the Aura Ring, which helps to monitor your sleep, and just little things that you can do and I can do, and we can all do that can help us to get better sleep, meaning better skin. Oh, yeah, and we do talk about getting naked. So here we go. Hi, I'm almost Dr. Diddy. I'm Sean Diddy. I'm a PhD researcher studying women, stress, emotional intelligence, and the ways we find joy. So I'm a stress scientist and a joy detective. In this podcast, Taking 20, we'll spend 20 minutes talking with people, mostly women, who join us for a real conversation. We want to get past the superficial BS and share real stories, real experiences. Our guests are all experts in some areas, so this podcast is meant to give you information and inspiration. My goal? Well, it's to help make your life easier so you have less stress and more joy. Here we go. Today's Taking 20 conversation. Okay, I'm so excited to introduce you all to Dr. Keira Barr. Gosh, we met at a conference, and it was one of those. I'll actually tell you, one of our first conversations was I had coffee in my hand and I had this blemish on my face. And like, she had said she's a dermatologist and she's actually a hormone and dermatology expert. And so we were talking, I'm like, what is this? And she's like, and she pointed in my coffee cup. And I'm like, huh? And you're like, you just put dairy in there, right? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, that's what's on your face. And I'm like, oh. So she's honest. I love, if you look at her website, she says, I take a no BS approach and I'm a straight shooter. You've been waiting long enough to feel great. And I don't want to waste another minute with you feeling less than that. And that is why I love her. She is founder of the Resilient Health Institute. She's a dual board certified dermatologist and menopause specialist. And she really gets it. She lives it. She says, that she knows what works, and it's noticing, nurturing, and nourishing. So we're going to let her tell you all about that because she really combines science with soul, and I'm just so glad to have you here. So, Dr. Barr, welcome.
Thank you.
So I think we've all gone through this whole pandemic lockdown, and we've probably seen some changes in our skin for better or worse, and maybe our self-care routines. And I always kind of say, just do one thing. If it's all you can do, just do one thing. But can you kind of give us maybe like three things that we could do to, and that way we maybe have a choice, or maybe some of us who have been really good about self-care could do all three. But what can we do to kind of help have better skin?
Yeah, that's such a loaded question. And I always like to say, there isn't just the one thing, right? It is a comprehensive approach, and we're not going to be able to do all the things. But I think something that you and I have talked about, probably one of the most important things, is sleep, right? I used to think like beauty sleep, what's that? But it's true, beauty sleep is a real thing. And sleep is so important because it's a time of rest, rejuvenation, not just for our skin, but for our whole body to reset. But especially for our skin, it's when our hydration rebalances. It's when many of our hormones are, in a rhythm, especially growth hormone and some of our other hormones that help regenerate and rejuvenate the skin. And so I would say that if you can prioritize sleep, that's going to be the biggest bang for your buck.
And that's when I'm big on sleep. And actually, you told me about the Aura Ring, and I'll just tell you if you're interested in this, it's like O, and they've got this little symbol over it, URA. So if you want to check it out, it's auraring.com. But it manages, or like you put it on your finger, and I got the rose gold. You had got a different color, didn't you?
I did. I kind of wish that I got the rose gold one now,
I
or
kind
the silver one. I like that one better. This is, yeah, this is
of
like
like
the matte
yeah.
platinum or something.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, before COVID, the lockdown, mine went on the second finger of my left hand, and right now I have it on the third finger of my right hand because my little hands are not the same size as they were. Which I want to talk about that too, and maybe if anybody else is suffering. But no, it monitors your resting heart rate, your heart rate variability, your respiratory rate, your body temperature, and then it has this thing where it says if you're in light sleep, deep sleep, or REM sleep, and how much time you spent there. It monitors your nighttime movement and then how your sleep time and how good it was. So, and it actually kind of it kind of shames you into going to bed. No, it doesn't shame you, but it'll pop up and it'll say you might want to think about ending your day now to keep consistent with your sleep. But
Right.
how
And
does sleep how does it from a I guess a clinical standpoint? How
yeah.
does it affect our skin?
So our body is on, we have a natural rhythm, right? Just like waves in the ocean, there's a low tide, there's a high tide. Our body has a similar rhythm called a circadian rhythm. And they're two really important hormones that regulate our waking and our sleeping, and that's cortisol and melatonin. So, and they should be inversely proportional.
Okay, so one
So
goes up, one goes
one
down.
goes up and one's going down. So what you want, first thing in the morning, your cortisol levels are low, and then they start to increase throughout the day, and then they go back down at night. And cortisol is our primary stress hormone, so it helps us, fight off danger, but it also gives us our get up and go. So we want that to start increasing in the morning to get us through our day, go down at night, so we can relax, unwind, and go to sleep. Melatonin is exactly the opposite. It rises in the nighttime and goes down throughout the day. And melatonin is created in a small gland in your brain called the pineal gland. And it is only this the production of this hormone is only stimulated when it's really dark. So this is why it's not just a matter of just crashing into bed and going to sleep. It's creating kind of a sleep sanctuary for yourself, setting your bedroom up for success so that you can get a good night's rest, so that you can generate as much of this melatonin, which is actually, a hormone. You want to generate as much as you can because it is one of the most potent antioxidants that our body actually makes. So, melatonin, um, for your skin health, it helps repair DNA damage. So, one of Lee, you were asking about things that we can do for our skin. 90% of visible aging we have found is from ultraviolet exposure, so from sun exposure. Well, melatonin, and that's a whole other thing that I would recommend, is sun protection, sun protection, sun protection all day long. And SPF is not your BFF. You got to do it from the inside out, and sunscreen. But with regards to melatonin, melatonin helps repair that damage that the sun is doing during the day. So if you're not getting quality sleep, if you're not sleeping in a dark environment to allow your body to produce this hormone, that repair process is being diminished, being jeopardized. Melatonin also plays a role in stimulating your hair follicles. In fact, there are some supplements on the market now that actually have melatonin because we know that it helps stimulate hair growth. There are some topical skincare products that even have melatonin in it. And what's really interesting in the scientific literature, they're actually using melatonin for skin cancer prevention as well as skin cancer management. And most people don't realize skin cancer is the number one cancer in the United States and in other parts of the world. So it's the most prevalent cancer, and your body has an inborn way of managing it, which is amongst them is melatonin. So sleep is probably one of the most important things you can do for your skin.
It's I was just about to say it's easy, and somebody's listening right now and saying, "Yeah, I have three kids and a dog." And blah. It isn't easy. I mean, it is one of those like as diligent as we are about our morning routine. We've got to be diligent about our night routine, and it's we have Monique Parent with us, and I see Monique in the background shaking her head, yes, because we're on Zoom right now, and so we can see each other. But Monique, I cracked a joke before this because Dr. Barr was saying with her podcast, she talks about let's go skinny dipping, meaning she needs to get people naked to examine them as a physician, but also we have to get real about our issues and what's going on so that she can help us. And I will tell you, Monique has been one of my dearest friends over the years. And whenever I have a struggle, I call Monique. Whenever things are good, I get to call Monique. You probably know her. She has millions of views on YouTube. You can check her out at Unique Monique. But where I'm going with this naked thing is Monique has actually written a book about being naked on film, and you've talked about this. And I just think it's funny, Monique. You're the one good girlfriend who encourages me not to be so uptight, but yet you do very much play by the rules. She's very well behaved. So that was a heck of an intro, throwing naked at her. I don't know how to. And there you are in your YouTube studio.
Behaved. I've always been well behaved. I remember it's like whenever I'd be out with friends and like people would drink too much and stuff would happen, everyone would turn and like they'd push me right to the front. It's like, okay, I will make everything better. I don't know why I'm the mama, but I end up being the mama.
I seem to remember a champagne incident where, yes, you had to drive me home, and yes, you were the mama. Uh huh. Yep. So anyway, on TV, she plays
a long time one time. I was like, is she ever going to get out?
No. Yeah, I didn't do that very often. Boy, that was a good one. But Monique, you really, we bonded over many a product, but one of those was the right pillow. So I think it's so interesting that one of the reasons I pulled out my Aura ring and I've been monitoring more closely is I'm doing a whole week of tracking my sleep to see how much I move and all that stuff, because I'm about to try the right pillow, and we're going to have Lacey from the right pillow on another podcast. But I know you have the right pillow. But before we get into that, I want to just talk to you about, I mean, what's your thought? You're a beauty expert. You're on YouTube talking about beauty. What's your sleep expertise?
I am a terrible sleeper. I have had insomnia my entire life, and menopause has not helped. And going back to Keira, having a doctor that you can speak frankly about your menopausal symptoms and perimenopause is huge. My doctor would not talk to me about it. She just flat out wouldn't discuss it with me. Like
I think it's unfortunate. Yeah. And I think it's mostly because we weren't educated about it in our training. And so this is why I've had to do, additional training outside. I'm a traditionally trained dermatologist, but hey, I'm a woman who's going through this myself. And so we need to be able to talk about it because there's millions of women suffering unnecessarily.
Every woman's going to go through this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's going to transcend all barriers. All of us are going to go through it unless we don't make it that far. So it's kind of important. I 100% agree with everything you're saying, and I need to get more sleep. I'm a big proponent about eating your way to good skin. Everyone wants a magic elixir that they put on their face and it's going to change it. And I'd love that too. It doesn't exist.
Amen.
You've got something, but what you eat matters more than anything. And getting all of your antioxidants and nutrients. And now I'm going to be adding melatonin because I've just learned a whole lot about melatonin. I'd already been thinking about it. And now it's like, oh, well, that's a priority. So melatonin is going right on my shopping list. I've known the need to prioritize sleep, but now I really, really get it. And I think I'm going to be getting an Aura ring because I'd love to track my sleeping patterns. I know that I'm almost always awake at 4:30. 4:30. What's going on in my body? So learning those reasons and where I would be on hormone levels. That would all be very interesting to find out and being able to feel like I had some control over it. I feel like I have control over so many aspects of my life, but I don't seem to have control over my sleep. It's like everything gives up then. And it's like, well, I'm just going to lay here and stare at the ceiling.
And I'm looking forward to trying the pillow, and Dr. Barr will have to let you in on the right pillow secrets. But they have one, it's called the Serenity, and it's latex. But it's 100% vegan. It's temperature regulating latex, so it keeps hot sleepers cooler. You get like the sateen cotton pillowcase. It's super nice. That one's best for back and slide sleepers. Love my favorite slide sleeper, a side sleeper. And then you adjust the loft. So like you can take stuffing out and put it where you want it. And I love Monique's showing her pillow right now because it's a like
It's weird.
it shapes around you. And that one's machine washable. Do you have the latex or do you have the wool?
I have the wool.
Okay, I do have the wool, and that's more for back, stomach, and side sleepers.
I am a back sleeper, and
Oh, no wonder your face looks so good. You haven't slept on it for
really helps being a back sleeper. And I love how this really, I'm by nature a back sleeper, but this really trains you to sleep on your back. Are you laughing because I interrupted you?
No, I was laughing because I figured out why your face looks so good.
Yeah, I was laughing too. I was like, oh. I've been a tummy and a side sleeper, and I know like sleeping on your back is what's recommended. I might have to get the one that forces you to stay on your back.
Yeah, the wool, and what I think when you got a shoulder issue.
Yeah, at first I was worried because I have the problem with my shoulder, and I think that when I was in the full inflammation on my frozen shoulder, when I literally had a knob right here on the front, it might have been a problem. But then I could just put my shoulder on top of it rather than it locks me in, and I literally don't move all night. I will do an occasional rollover onto my side, usually my left side more than my right because I have issues with the right shoulder. But it really keeps me stable all night, and I have noticed that I am sleeping better.
And that's why I want to monitor it with the ring because I want to see how much I turn over. And it's humanely sourced eco wool from small family farmers. They're very eco conscious. It's certified organic. These are recommended for allergy sufferers. And I know you mentioned somewhere, was it on social media? I heard this.
Yeah,
It's so funny when you're friends with a social media person. Is I can't remember what I saw you say in a video or what we talked about on the phone.
Yeah, I noticed right off I have so much allergies, and we've talked about pillows before. I remember years ago you saying you don't throw away your pillows. I get new pillows every year. And I'm like, wow, I don't want you to know how old the pillow you're sleeping on right now is.
Probably had champagne. I didn't care.
I didn't care. But I woke up without allergies. Because I have allergies to dust mites, and because of the wool, it's hypoallergenic. And I remember just waking up in the morning and going, what's that thing I'm doing with my nose right now? Oh, that's breathing.
Isn't that funny? So this is kind of, I have no better word than gross, so sorry, but wool is made to keep bugs off of sheep. Hence, it keeps dust mites, which are kind of like bugs, out of your pillow. Like, it's so funny how naturally these things exist. And it's when we'll have Lacey on, and Monique, maybe you should join us with Lacey.
Oh,
too.
I love Lacey.
Keira, you might have to just come back every week. We'll just have like
Do this.
coffee chats. But Lacey talks about how it's like she knows the people who are hand sewing the pillows. Like this is, and at first I thought, okay, that's more than I've spent for a pillow. But then I realized, what do? You sleep a third of your life, and then you've got, your dermatologist saying, hey, your skin depends on sleep. I have spent a lot of money for slathering stuff on my face, and it hasn't worked. So a pillow.
How many times have people spent $150 for a cream?
Yeah. Monique, I am so on board with you that I always tell people, I'm like, listen, I can go to Sephora or to go to some, a high-end department store and spend all your money, but it's not going to get the results you want. There are some great products out there, but it really starts with how we nourish our body, with the food that we eat, with the thoughts in our brain, with the people we spend time with, and sleep and movement. All the things are going to get you, that glow that you're looking for much quicker than investing hundreds of dollars in topical skincare. Not to poo-poo some of the great brands out there, but it's not this or it's this and. You have to do all of it.
Yes.
I love it. This and if you've been listening and you want to follow Dr. Barr, and Keira, should they follow you at the drkeirabarr.com?
Yeah.
So and KeiraBarr, so 2 R's, and the E is before the I. And then Monique are you still Unique Monique?
Well, I'm Monique Parent everywhere.
She's everywhere. You just go to YouTube. And I had to laugh if you're wanting to watch, there's one video, Monique, I looked at the one of you and me together about you were talking about starting over and starting a YouTube channel. And it literally starts with us when I lived in LA talking about the $3.99 bottle of wine that I offered you. There was really a $10.99 bottle. I had gotten it on sale, but she was such a sport. But you really started your life over, and you're doing not only beauty videos, but you talk about your life.
Yeah, it's my life went from I was drinking way too much. I was literally drinking myself to sleep every night. That's healthy. And just because I hated my job, I hated my life, I didn't have friends, I didn't have outlets, it's like all of those things. And then I changed my life around, and here I am 5 years later, and I'm amazed at the difference. Just a few little changes, and now my life is completely different, and I have the best skin of my life at age 55.
Yeah, and it's like great. You did it. And that's so. And I just want to pop back to Keira, because you guys, 20 minutes has flown by. Like this is, and again, I will just say one of the things that I do is transcendental meditation, and it's just 20 minutes twice a day. And people are like, I don't know if I can take out 20 minutes. You just did, and that's my point. Is we do taking 20 so that you take 20 minutes for yourself. But Dr. Barr, you really kicked us off with, we can't do just one thing. It's a combination of things. So you're saying sleep the best we can, eat the best we can. What's our third thing for the day? Wash our faces.
Well, I think sun protection is key. I think if you're really worried, 90% of visible aging is from sun exposure, and it's not just the sunscreen. It really is what you put on your plate, eating foods rich in antioxidants, anti-inflammatory foods. So really cutting out the processed foods, the added sugars, and eating your healthy fats, your omega-3 fatty acids. But I think more than anything else, it's just learning to accept what is and learning to love yourself for where you're at, because that feeling comfortable in your skin is that's the biggest gift. And I think the best beauty tip that I could give is just learning how to love the skin that you're in.
Amen. And Monique, I see you shaking your head. I want to give you just a second on that one, because I think that's how you live.
It's everything she said is right there. That's exactly everything. What you eat, who you surround yourself with, your sleep. The last thing is the stuff you slather on your face. That matters the least.
Yeah, and there is some good stuff out there, and maybe we'll talk about that too. But I want to say, you both mentioned the people you surround yourself with, and I just want to thank you for joining me. And anybody out there who's listening, again, follow Unique Monique. Just follow her at Monique Parent. You can find her, and then drkeirabarr.com. And keep following me, Dr. Diddy, almost. And we'll have more things for you on the podcast. We're glad to have you with us. And it was just 20 minutes, and you can do this for yourself. It's worth it. Hey, it's Sean. Thanks for joining us for this episode. Remember, there's nothing you really need other than food, clothing, shelter, and people who love you. So if you found something in this podcast and you really want to add it to your collection, check your budget first. And if it fits, go ahead. They're great products. But if it doesn't fit your budget right now, don't worry. You can get one later. Join us for more podcasts. Please subscribe and take care of you. We are letting go of stress and finding the joy. See you next time on Taking 20.